good afternoon, and have a blessed and prosperous New Year, dear iSITE student members and faculty advisors. Welcome to our iSITE webinar series. On this third webinar series, we will fill your Saturday with very informative and substantial updates on the latest and emerging topics in ICT. Thank you for rising up to the challenges of this new academic landscape. Today, we have an interesting topic on machine learning. I am Dr. Corazon Barcenas Rebong, iSITE Auditor, your host for this webinar. By participating in our iSITE webinar series, you consent us to capture, record, process data you share directly and indirectly on these events. To ensure the smooth flow of our webinar, please be guided by the following. This session will be recorded for documentation purposes. For best user experience, use Google Chrome browser for desktop and Zoom app for mobile. Only the speaker's microphone and video camera shall be turned on. For those in the Zoom account, use our chat box for your questions and suggestions. While those in FB Live, please type your questions in the comment section. It will be read later by yours truly during the Q&A. At the end of this webinar, we hope that our faculty and student attendees could be able to apply the knowledge and concepts they gained in the webinar that can be able to produce accurate results and analysis by developing efficient and fast algorithms and data-driven models for real-time processing of the data. To our dear participants, at the end of the webinar, a link for the evaluation form will be posted and you have to fill them out to receive your e-certificate. Please write your complete name correctly. Thank you. Moving on, to give her opening remarks, may we hear it from the Treasurer of iSITE, Dr. Luisa Makatangay of Batangas State University and MC-Tech Training Center.
A pleasant afternoon to everyone. Today is our third day of iSITE webinar series. It aims to update our students and faculty members with the latest trends, tools, and technologies. Our speaker for today will talk about machine learning, the core sub-area of artificial intelligence. Welcome. Good day.
Thank you, Dr. Luisa Makatangay. It is indeed our honor and pride that we are given full support by our CHED Regional Supervisor and the Advisor of iSITE. To inspire us this afternoon, may I call on screen for his inspirational message, Mr. Lupel B. Guetta.
Good afternoon, iSITE members, iSITE officers, headed by Dr. Rosalie Alday, student participants, school representatives. Happy New Year! I would like to express my gratitude and commend Dr. Alday for this continuous service to IT students in Calabarzon. iSITE officers ensures that the delivery of this series of webinars to the students of Calabarzon is continuous despite this COVID-19 pandemic. This afternoon session is entitled Machine Learning. This will be delivered by one of the most seasoned technical experts in the industry and in the education sector, in the person of Dr. Jesse Montalvo of Batangas State University. Have you read in advance about the topic today before logging in this webinar? I hope you do, because it will be more interesting if you have read in advance what machine learning is. Is the term machine learning is new to your ears? Have you experienced a technology that is an output or an outcome of this topic? I'm sure you are. Look at the nature of Facebook nowadays. Facebook is not the usual social network that we have a few years back. Now, it uses artificial intelligence, facial recognition, algorithms, or machine learning algorithm in particular. Those are just examples to name a few. And I would not want to preempt the presentation of Dr. Montalvo. So all you have to do is to sit back, listen, more so participate, as this topic is considered as the foundation of advanced science in this coming year. Again, it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome you all to this webinar. Remember, in this time of pandemic, it is only the mode of delivery of learning has changed. The quality of education must be the same. Thank you, and please keep safe always.
Thank you very much, Sir Lupel, for your very inspiring message and untiring support to iSITE. And now, as we proceed to the highlights of this afternoon's webinar on machine learning, it is my honor to introduce to you our guest speaker. He is a professional civil engineer and ASEAN engineer. Currently, he holds two credible positions as the Executive Director and as the Dean of College of Engineering, Architecture, and Fine Arts at Batangas State University Main Campus 2. He is a PhD holder and earned 2 master's degrees in engineering, and he likewise earned academic units in Doctor of Technology. Also, completed training courses in Chief Information Officer Training on Strategic Planning and Management of IT at National University of Singapore, Computer Networking, Electronic Data Processing, COBOL Programming, Basic Programming, and with IT certification in Microsoft Technology Literacy Educator, Microsoft Networking, and 7 modules of International Computer Driving License, or ICDL. He presented and published several research papers in information technology and civil engineering in different Scopus Index journals. He also served as the resource person and trainer in several IT-related and engineering seminar workshops. He is actively affiliated in different professional organizations. He formerly served as one of the board members of the iSITE National for 3 years, regional president of iSITE Region 4 for a year, and also a board member of the Philippine Association for Technological Education, or PATE, for 12 years. He has 38 years of experience as academician, professor, administrator, and dean of the different colleges like College of Information Technology Education and College of Engineering, to name a few. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome our guest speaker, and together, let's give our warmest virtual round of applause to Dr. Jesse A. Montalvo.
So, can I share the screen already for my presentation?
Yes, sir. You may.
Yeah, okay. I'm doing it now. Wait. Ito mahirap sa live. Ano? Teka. Okay. Okay. Okay, now. So, again, Dr. Cory, thank you. And to Dr. Rosalday, our president, to all officers. Engineer Guetta, thank you very much also for your presence. And all of you are tuned up or tuned in, in YouTube or FB Live. A pleasant afternoon to all of you. I hope you will learn something from my presentation. I've tried to simplify it as possible. As mentioned by the previous speaker, this is a foundation of knowledge in the future. This is already has been used by several companies or several industries now, and most of you might perhaps already know this already. Machine learning, as defined, is the science of getting computers to learn and act like human and improve their learning time in autonomous fashion. So we are actually teaching the computer to learn by feeding them with data and information in the form of observation and real-world interaction. So as mentioned, machine learning is a branch or form of artificial intelligence. As you all know, our future is dependent now on artificial intelligence. As mentioned by Dr. Abe Ingerloffel, there are a lot of companies, including Facebook, is using machine learning. That basically involve face tagging or face recognition and many others. Even those companies like McDonald's and so on are also using it, machine learning. So in our everyday life, we many services are being used every day, and future developments could support that that economy will have a significant impact on our society. So what is machine learning in a nutshell? So machine learning, again, is a branch of artificial intelligence based on the idea that systems can be learned from data, or the systems, so yun yung computer. Learn from data, identify patterns, and make decisions with minimal human intervention. Okay? Unlike the traditional programming, that is static in nature, where we program the computer to accept data and give results. Okay, so yan. And to produce an output of results. Machine learning, in this analogy here by Tom Mitchell, say that computer program can learn from experience with respect to some class of tasks, so bibigyan natin sila task, and performance measure, so that its performance at task T, as measured by P, improves with experience E. So that is an analogy on explaining machine learning. So actually, as mentioned, is the most popular technique of predicting future classification information in making necessary decisions. Kaya this machine learning is actually popularly used in most business entities or establishment. As mentioned kanina, sabi ko, McDonald's, other big companies, let's say yung sa online na they call this shopping, yung unang sumikat na online shopping also uses machine learning, social engineering, and so on. Which I will mention in the next slides now. So, as mentioned, algorithms to, machine learning algorithms. This is trained over instances of examples. So, kailangan talaga dito ay maraming example or data. Diba? Kaya ang tawag natin doon pagka data, we are training the data, which they learn from experience, also analyze historical data. So basically, ito, dapat meron kang background knowledge sa statistics kasi meron tayong analysis of data. So a requirement yan na meron ka dapat knowledge sa statistics. Therefore, it trains us over the Sample again and again, it's able to identify patterns. Sasabi ko na to. Marami tayong terms na you should know first before you understand well machine learning, like algorithm. So the algorithm refers to the machine learning algorithm na mention kanina ni Engineer Lopez. That is set of rules and statistical techniques used to learn patterns from data and raw significant information. Okay, the logic behind machine learning model. Halimbawa, yung ginagamit ng C6 will be the linear regression algorithm. This is the simplest. Linear regression is a basic statistical model which we use for forecasting or predicting. Diba? I don't know if you guys know that, but that is a basic one that we learn in statistics. Of course, we have the model. It is actually the main component of the machine learning. Ito yung gusto nating magawa out of the data. We need to do a model. So a model is trained by using machine learning algorithm. And marami naman tayo, may ilan naman tayo algorithm na sasabihin mamaya. So algorithm maps all the decision that a model is supposed to take based on a given input in order to get the correct output as mentioned in the other slides. So we have what we call as a predict variable. It is features of the data that can be useful to predict the output. So kailangan natin yung data na predictor. Response variable, it is the feature or output that needs to be predicted. Example, let's say, meron kang data na lang na let's say ng flooding, which is common na sa problem na sinusubit sa amin sa thesis ng estudyante. Yung flood level, tapos predict kung ano magiging flood level in the next coming years using machine learning. Okay? So the data there, the input data are the historical data in the past. Okay, training data, that's related again to the previous terms that I mentioned. It is the machine learning model that is built using training data. So the machine learning model is built using the training data. So yun yung ating kailangan ipasok. So the training data helps the model to identify key trends and patterns and the output. Ano ba itong mga training data? Ito yung parang label data o yung description o data na kailangan natin na pinapasok natin sa ating machine learning algorithm para siya ay makadevelop ng model. Yun yung in what my samples about flooding. Oh, yeah. Pwede yung data doon, yung level ng tubig in a certain place or any other kind of data that is known as label data. No? And most cases, yung data, marami. Depende kasi sa study, sa iyong application na gagamitin o study. Usually, that can be reached up to millions or meron naman lesser than 1,000. Depende. Okay, so testing data after the model is trained must be tested to evaluate how accurately it can predict outcome. So yung lalabas na, test mo na. Yun yung last portion na if you can consider your model accurate or not. Okay? So, actually later you will learn that this will be very useful talaga, this machine learning. Ayun ba? Okay, yan. Yan, ito yung sinabi ko kanina, ito yung pinaka representation of process niya. Process niya in the machine learning process. Okay? Process na doble ako. So that is actually, ang mahirap parte dito, yung building a model. But building a model, actually, dito naman kayo ang yan, that we use different tools. There are a lot of tools that we can use, and in training the machine, we also use a lot of good programming language, which I will say later on. Ito pa mga ibang related bit, maraming related bits sa machine learning. As I mentioned, na ito nga ay machine learning or AI, kasi AI nga ay siya talaga pinaka-main mother ng machine learning, is actually related to many other fields as mentioned, data mining, control theory, decision theory. And these are very important theories in processes in the field of computer world. So why do we need machine learning? Actually, we don't necessarily need always when you do a system or an application to use machine learning. Of course, hindi naman lahat. Especially, yung mga simple problems, yung talagang static ka, as mentioned, determines the problem, problems that have been efficiently solved, don't need to use, let's say, I don't know if you have read some of the studies of thesis before. Siguro nag-research kayo sa inyong project or thesis. Kita nyo, mayroon mga nung una ang ginagawa ng kapwa ng students kung nababasa nyo yung mga simple lang, bawa inventory, mga reservation, and so on. So there will be no need to use ML there. But now, pwede pa rin natin gamitan ng machine learning yon. So we need to use machine learning again when we are solving big problems where we have big data. So kaya ito related to big data, data science, data analytics. Magkakapatid yan. Or deep learning, yung deep learning naman mas advanced sa machine learning, but that is actually coming from machine learning also. So ginagamit natin yan sa open-ended problems. Yan, time-changing problems. Kaya sabi ko sa inyo, posible ngayon yung ginagamit yung ginagawang solution sa mga inventories or observations may be treated differently now based on previous experiences, previous data, para magkameron ng isang predictor which is done by machine learning. Of course, that is basically used for hard problems, ang ating machine learning. Ito rin yung sinabi ko. Actually, this is just what I've said. In order for you to improve decision making, when you have increasing data generations, when we uncover patterns, interesting data, yan, yung trends. Pwede gamitin yan. Kaya sabi ko, pwede siyang gamitin sa forecasting. So, pwede yung weather forecasting or anything that something to do with that phenomena. Or we can solve complex problem also. Okay? And so on. Actually, pwede gamitin yan ngayon, kaya lang di pa siguro natin pwede because of problem in obtaining data, yung sa COVID, di ba? Magandang, thesis using machine learning, but medyo mahirap siguro ngayon because of the health protocols. Yeah, sabi ko sa inyo, doon sa complex, let's say meron na yan, yung self-driving cars. It was already done by some countries, US, Japan, I think. Meron na tayong self-driving cars. Diba? And ginamit siyempre dyan ay machine learning. Ano nga data ang pinid dyan? Malamang yung mga maps o GPS. So medyo siyempre malalim na yan o medyo differ in analysis yan. Pero it still use machine learning or artificial intelligence. Diba? There are already a successful na ginawa ang self-driving cars. I think Japan, China, and many other countries have already done this successfully. Sabihin ng self-drive, di ba ang driver, pwedeng pasahero ka lang, di ba? And that is in the future. Kaya the future ngayon ay pwedeng yung mga taxi, so sasakay ka na lang, sabihin mo lang direction, then they will bring you to whatever directions. So again, this is what I have mentioned. Because data improve decision making, machine learning, and so on. Improve decision. And machine learning has added another dimension to the way we perceive information. It is being utilized everywhere. Ngayon, lagi na siyang ginagamit. Because now is the information world, information age o lampas na tayo doon. Diba? So we also have a vast of data and information that we need to have a method or a algo or algorithm to process this. Okay, nasabi ko na rin to. to condition when to use machine learning solution. Kailan mo ba gagamitin siya? When are you going to use machine learning solution? Those tasks cannot be done by deploying a set of rules, yung usual nating programming rules. Difficulty identifying implementing rules. Yung hindi natin ma-identify, ano ba rules ang gagamitin dito? Kasi maraming possibilities. Multiple rules to go hand in hand and which are difficult to code. May about code, yung sa usual programming. Other factors make it difficult to code the rule based on those factors. Overlapping rules, tukol lahat sa rules. When data scale is high, so when you can define rules from few samples, but it is difficult to scan millions of data sets for better prediction. So machine learning can be used for those scenarios and bring out mathematical model. Kaya dito sa machine learning, medyo kailangan natin ng good knowledge sa mathematics, statistics and mathematics. That's why in the new curriculum that we have, I don't know kung computer, but I think computer science and BSIT. I think the chat already also recommended machine learning or artificial intelligence as one of the courses or subject. Kaya when we develop our curriculum, we also added mathematics, like up to linear algebra is very important here. It's important ito. Statistics and probability is very important because you have to use that. You got to have a baseline of knowledge on that. At any rate, kahit di ka marunong nun, basta sundan mo lang yung procedure, makakagawa ka rin. Hindi parang IT na kukunin mo na lang o i-apply mo na lang. Diba? Ito yung mga useful application of machine learning. Yung image and speech recognition, matagal na yan, di ba? So, nung gumamit yan, yung ating mga iPhones, smartphones, ginamit na yan, si Siri. Sino ba yung bago ngayon? Yung time pa ni Siri, inabot yung mga bago ngayon, hindi ko masyado alam yung which is an image or speech recognition. Medical diagnosis, ginagamit na yan. In fact, you can do some research perhaps in this field, diba? For your thesis or statistical arbitrage, learning associations, or it's about e-learning, whatever. Classification, prediction, extraction. These are the methods being used. Classification, prediction, extraction, regression. Ito pa, yung malimit natin yung common. Yun, inisip ko na Amazon. Yan ang mga first user niyan. Paano ba nila paano nila predict ang magiging mabili, yung hindi mabili, and so on. So, meron naman silang data na. And that involves thousands of millions of data that they can use. Optical character recognition, that is also being used before, di ba? Sa political campaign, sa vote. Madali yan. Maka-regression lang ginamit ito. Madali yung, itong predictive policy, surveillance system. Yeah. Facial recognition, matagal na rin yan, di ba? Used in different security purposes. Or the simple security perhaps is access control. I mean, if you want to access to a certain system or certain ginagamit yung face recognition. Miski nga sa ating smartphone o iPhone, di ba, may face recognition din or finger recognition. Pero ang pwede lang magbukas kung sino yung naka-registered yung face at saka yung biometrics yung kanyang thumbmark. Miski sa mga online banking, di ba? Ganun na rin. Sa mobile phone mo, pwede mo gamitin ang iyong thumbmark. Yan, sasabi ko sa inyo. Facebook, ginagamit natin yan for filter algorithms. Magtataka kayo sa Facebook, bakit niya na-tag automatically yung mga pag nag-upload ka ng photos, merong basta yung friends mo, biglang automatic nakatag sila. Paano nila, na wala ka namang ginagawa, di ba? So that is actually face recognition or facial recognition. Kasi yung Facebook, meron siya machine learning na ginamit doon. Of course, sinabi ko kayo na yung self-driving vehicles. As I mentioned, ano na yan, Google using that, using it, especially advertising. So napakaraming pwedeng gamitan o i-apply ang machine learning. Yeah, sorry. Ayan, tumas yan. Yan. What are the types of machine learning? So we have what we call as a supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. Meron pang ibang klase, pero ito na yung pinaka-main. Supervised, ito idea, no? They gave me so much to read and test. So diyan yung talaga pinipigback. Pero supervised, actually among them, siyempre pinakamalimit gamitin ay supervised. Yun especially sa mga bagong mag-develop o mag-ano sa system o mag-develop ng applications, pinaka madali siyempre ang supervised. Kasi diyan naka-label yung data, sinasabi mo, ano. Then we have the unsupervised. Pwede rin, marami din. Pero siyempre yung reinforcement yan na medyo advanced na. Diyan naroon na reinforcement sa yung mga self-driving cars and so on. Ito yung ating iba pang presentation ng ating types of learning machine. Supervised, makikita nyo dyan sa supervised, di ko mabasa masyado, mag-abumata. Yan, population growth prediction, estimating the expectancy, market forecasting, and adhesive. So, yan ang common sa supervised. Unsupervised, the system, target marketing, and so on. Reinforced learning, yan, medyo mas ano yan. Real-time decisions, game AI. So, yung inyong sikat sa ML sa inyo, alam ko, bihira hindi nakakaalam na estudyante nito. Pati maestro, di ba? Maraming naloko dito sa ML na ito, hindi naman machine learning. Ano yun? Mobile Legend. Pero ako hindi ko alam ang Mobile Legend. Pero marami ang alam ko sa mga estudyante at instructors ay nagmo-Mobile Legend. Maaring sa Mobile Legend, yan ay mayroong ginamit na machine learning kasi yung decision na yan. Although, actually, based on one of my readings, there is a paper presented that we can improve further Mobile Legend using machine learning. Let's say, yung prediction, I don't know what that is being predicted there, na mga kalaban, and so on. Pwedeng gamitan ng program sa machine learning. Pwede nyo siguro maging, pag-thesis niyo, no? Kasi mahilig kayo sa Mobile Legend. Ito yung sinabi ko rin, but pinapakahirap tayong basahin, meron pa naman ito, no? Supervised, fraud detection, email spam detection, diagnostic, yan, medyo madadali yan. Unsupervised, text mining, face recognition, magkaiba konti kasi sa image classification at saka face recognition. So, halos related, but yung isa kasi classification and recognition. Yeah, sa class, their method because as the clustering method which is ginagamit sa biology, city planning, example sa biology, which is actually done by several of our students before. Yung bang predicting the disease of a certain class, predicting the disease of coffee, blah, blah, blah. So, gunamit nila, anong dataset doon? So, dalawa yun, meron na yata namang nakuha, minsan may nakuha online. At, para madagdagan yun, talaga nag-picture sila ng iba-iba, tapos nagtanong sa mga ano ang disease yun, so on, para magkameron ng datasets. At matrain nila yun, di ba? Ilan yung, sa undergrad namin, undergrad pa ito, na ganun yung study, which is actually machine learning yun. Okay? Ito na, we try to give some possible topics. I know one of the things that you want to do, especially yung mga early fourth year, is you're looking for a topic, di ba? Possible topics in your project study or thesis. It was actually lectured by Dr. Rose nung the first natin, and I think you can also get something from this. Sabi nga, one of these possible sources of topics will be on webinars, diba? Okay. Supervised learning, ito medyo pinahaba ko to para mas ano, pero I don't think I have to be on detail on this kasi we will be lacking the time. Ano. So yan, you input raw data, then it's being processed, and you will have the necessary output. Diba? So pag supervised learning, input and output is provided to the computer along with feedback during the training, and the accuracy of predictions by the computer during training is also being analyzed. So the main goal of the training is to make computers learn how to map input to the output. Yan yung supervise. Yan. The majority of practical machine learning, supervised learning. Yung sinasabi ko kanina, maraming machine learning process, lalo sa mga beginners o sa mga ano, ay supervise. Parang siya ang madali. Mas madali. Hindi, not necessarily. Depende rin siguro sa kind of study or kind of applications na gagawin. But the principle is based only on linear ano. Diba? Y equals a function of x. Medyo alam naman siguro niya, ano. Siyempre sa engineering, mas advanced yung aming mathematics, but I think, sa CS ngayon, di ba, mataas na rin, hanggang ano na rin, hanggang linear algebra na rin kayo. Linear algebra is very important sa data science. Yan, sa artificial intelligence, which is composition nga niya, machine learning, and many others. So there's a technique in which we teach or train the machine using data which is well leveled. Level yung, alam mo kung ano yun, nasabi mo, no? Means that you use label data, which is a data set that has been classified to impair a learning algorithm. So the data set used as the basis for predicting the classification of other unlabeled data through the use of machine learning algorithms. Okay? Yeah, sa supervised may tinatawag yan, linear regression technique, and the other one is the classification technique. Dalawa yan. As example, sa linear regression, you can use to examine if there was a relationship between the company's advertising budget and its sales. So, relationship to, di ba? Classification, marami yan, as mentioned. May gumagamit tayo ng ibang logistic regression, linear discriminant analysis, k-nearest neighbors. I don't think we have discussed that. And decision trees, di ba? Hindi ko alam saan ba decision trees discuss sa data structure yata or any other courses. This is pwedeng gamitin ng decision tree. Neural networks, ito ang emerging now. In neural networks is a very important, not technology, but theory, which is actually applied to machine learning. Marami kasi neural network, may tinatawag tayo artificial, convolutional, and many others. Okay? SBM, yan, medyo malalim na yung SBM pag ginamit natin sa the support vector machine, medyo malalim na, I think ginagamit yan sa medicine o sa other Okay? Then, unsupervised, I think I have mentioned this also. The unsupervised actually is case no such training is provided living computers to find out on its own. Ang computers daw ay pwedeng maghanap ng kanyang output at their own. So unsupervised learning is mostly applied on transactional data. It is used more complex tasks. Yeah. It uses another approach of iteration known as deep learning. Ano yung deep learning? Mas medyo advanced sa machine learning. Okay? And of course, this is a little bit difficult than the supervise. Kaya yung mga students, miski sa masters or it's really supervised yung ginagawa nila. And most of the paper being published by the faculty now or students those ay about machine learning using supervised. Okay? So supervised learning can further be grouped into clustering and association. So pwedeng clustering, a clustering program is where you want to discover the inherent groupings in the data. And association is where you want to discover rules that describe large portion of your data, such as people that buy X also tend to buy Y. So that is actually association. A sample of association. Na ginagamit na algorithm, pinakasikat daw ay the most popular is the K-means for clustering problems. K-means, hindi ko alam kung saan natin na-discuss yan, pero maaaring in some courses na-discuss, but really not sure. Pero yan ay part of, alam ko sa statistics yan, or discrete math. Okay? Reinforcement learning, ito yung sabi ko sa inyo, mas mahirap but mas maraming application. That is the emerging and most popular type of machine learning. Yun yung ginagamit ng malimit. And it has three components: the agent, the environment, and action. Okay? So that is part from the concept of unsupervised learning and gives a high speed control to software agents and machine to determine what the ideal behavior within context can be. So yan, medyo malalim na yan. So saan ginagamit yan? Sa industry, like cars and robotics. I think the lecture of Dr. Neil Malba last time is about industrial revolution. I don't know if he mentioned that the main component of in order to follow the industrial revolution for most companies, I think is pag sinabi industry, yung mga manufacturing companies and others. Don't you know that isa sa main tool na ginagamit nila at to be classified as following the industrial revolution for is iCT. And the iCT concept there is artificial intelligence and ayan, pag sinabi robotics, ano yan, artificial intelligence. And robotics is actually using machine learning. Kasi yung robot o yung any kind of robotic action, it is being fed by a bus of data, big data, so that every movement will be precise and depending on what it has been trained to the robot. So ngayon, maraming company ay gumagamit ng machine learning. Based from, of course, artificial intelligence, but machine learning yun. Ginagamit na. Kaya nga, ang future natin, you will, nabasa ko yan sa isang articles, ang kailangan ng mga industries, in fact, nagsisimula na ngayon, ay mga programmers and developers in machine learning or in artificial intelligence. Yan ngayon ang magiging in demand in the future. O ngayon pa lang pala ay in demand na. McDonald's itself is, I think, already started finding talent or what we call as the developers in machine learning or artificial intelligence. Kasi dyan tayo lahat papunta. Diba? Ay, sabi nga, pati sasakyan ngayon, self-driving na. Lagi mo nag-umpisa sa isa, but later on will be sa lahat na yan. Diba? Magiging yan. So, kaya ngayon, yung mga manufacturing industry, ang kailangan nila ay mga marunong din sa AI, particularly in machine learning, or deep learning, or big data, or data analytics. Kasi naman magkaka-relate. Nagsisimula siyempre muna sa big data para may yan din sa ating machine learning. Okay? E makikita ninyo lahat ng core, I don't know, sa ibang university and colleges, kung meron sila, kung binago ng curriculum nila, na meron na tayong AI, meron tayong big data, meron na tayong machine learning, isa, data science, actually data science and generator. So, I don't know, pero in our university where I'm employed, already have those courses or subjects in our computer science. Kaya very loaded yung computer science namin. Okay, ito yung mga ginagamit na machine learning approaches. Regression, I explained that several times. So that is the simplest method of actually predicting or forecasting using the principle of regression. Support vector machine, ito medyo ito. Wala number 2. Ay, number 2, wala. Siya, nag-erase ko yata. So this is another support vector machine, and this is also what is commonly used. Association rule learning, artificial neural network. Sabi ko sa inyo kanina. Hindi ko na masyadong i-discuss yung iba. Ito na lang. Artificial o ANN or neural networks, artificial neural networks. Ito yung malimit gamitin. In fact, doon nga sa, I'm sorry, I have to give examples lagi doon sa university ko o sa college where I was din for so many years. Yung kanilang study na nakita ko iba, yung thesis, involve the use of neural networks, especially for image processing. When they want to predict something using image processing, that is combined with what algorithm? They use the convolutional neural networks. Artificial pwede, pero malimit nilang ginagamit yung convolutional. Pagdating sa identification ng neural, ng image, image recognitions or whatever. Kasi marami siyang pwedeng application ngayon. Okay? Ito, base network, medyo advanced ito. Pero ginagamit din malimit ito. This is actually a principle of probability. Which is actually, kung nag-aaral kayo ng probability, kasama dapat to sa inyong pag-aralan. Pero I don't know, miski sa amin, natitingnan kayo ng tourist statistics. Hindi ba? Baka naman sa bagong curriculum, sinama nito. Meron kasi iba na, meron pang advanced statistics and probability. Although most of this before was for engineering purposes. Pero ngayon, pwede na siya, ginagamit siya sa machine learning approach. Okay? Ano ngayon yung malimit gamitin? Yan, nariyan na, kita na yun. I know you will be asking, ano ba ang pinakamalimit na gamitin para makadevelop? So we go first with programming language. Ano bang malimit gamitin? O pinakamadaling gamitin, o pinaka-popular na programming language na gamitin. So makikita ninyo from the sample here, from the cartoons or the picture here, ano yung pinakamalimit? Kita na, di ba? Kita natin ang pinakamalimit o pinakasikat ngayon sa panahon ito at this time, especially in 2020, is Python. Although ang Python talaga matagal na yan eh. Kaya lang nadagdagan ng kanyang libraries of tools. Nung una pang web yan, mga Django lang yung kanyang pero ang dami na ngayon. So most likely, pinakasikat na tools niya, package, when it comes to with learning, to machine learning is the TensorFlow. Ewan kung iba sa inyo na gamit ng TensorFlow. So, yan. Nasabi ko na, pinakasikat ay Python, but meron tayong ilan pa. Ano ilan pa nating sikat? So Python is the leader, 57%. Yeah, languages for developers. Not all Python is widely used language, but it is the primary choice for most of its users due to release of TensorFlow. Yeah, sinabi ka ng TensorFlow. So isa pinakamadaling gamitin sa machine learning. Nakita niyo yan, may konti akong dyan. Illustration. Sino ito? Si Harry Potter. Sabi doon sa the best way to learn a language is to speak to natives. Ano yung sabihin nun? Para matuto ka doon ang isang lingwahe, kausapin mo yung mga gumagamit ng lingwahe. So in this case, yung pinakita ay Python, di ba? Ibig sabihin, para matuto ka ng Python, kausapin mo ang Python. Yan, siyempre joke yan. Baka nga kausapin yung Python, ha? Okay. Java. Ayan, hanggang ngayon, yan ang unang pa. I know, sa curriculum natin, and most of our colleges uses have a Python subject. Kasi talagang universal yung Python eh. Pero ngayon, tinalo siya sa latest sa 2020 ng Python when it comes to machine learning. When it comes only to machine learning. Remember, Java is, lagi naman dalawa, Java and Java scripting. Meron pa tayo yung Java scripting is basically for web development. So, yeah, machine learning with expert using it for network security, cyber attacks, where Python is less preferable. Yung pagdating nga sa security daw, medyo hindi ganun kaano ang Python. Pero alam ko na strength na yun yan. Kasi alam nila yan eh. Yung mga developer. But Python and Java are both, they are both, ang tawag natin dito, open source, open for public use, libre siya. Okay? Pero, siyempre, later on malalaman may mga added cost na rin na kailangan pagka advanced users ka na. Hindi ko lang sure yung libraries. Alam ko libraries. Hindi yata. Ang libraries yata niya. They bayad like TensorFlow. I'm not so sure because I'm not actually using Python yet. But hindi naman ako nagpo-program ngayon. So, ang US Java daw ay improve features for machine learning. Marami siyang feature for machine learning. Yan, Java. Makikita, why do Java developers, joke ulit to ha, baka maniwala ulit kayo ito. So why do Java developers wear eyeglasses? Bakit daw nag-wear eyeglasses? Because they don't see sharp. Nakuha kaya ang joke na yun? Sana nga nakuha. Because they don't see sharp. Why do Java developers wear eyeglasses? Because they don't see sharp. Parang ako. I wear glasses. Because I don't. Yeah, nakuha ba yung joke doon? Sana, no? So, ibig sabihin nun, yung C-sharp, hindi C, ginawang S-E-E. Kaya daw nagsusuot ng glasses. Okay? Kaya, pero C-sharp also is one big. C-sharp also, pwede. Hindi lang siya masyadong ginagamit ng iba. Pero ang ibang estudyante, yan pa rin ang gusto. Kasi yan ang tinuro sa kanila. Like in our college. Tinuro sa kanila ay C-sharp. di C-sharp pa rin. Pero ngayon may Python na rin. Siguro mga several years back, mga 5 years or more than ako pa sinasabi ko na ang curriculum natin, palitan natin to Python ang ating basic programming. Kasi Python is a very useful and yan ang future. Nagkatotoo ngayon. Kasi yan, sa ibang universities kasi in the other countries, ang basic, yung pinakaunang program nila, Python muna tinuturo. Kasi very simple siya, high-level language. And so, R ngayon sumisikat din yan, very simple din yan. It's a graphic-based language used for statistical computing analysis. So, more on statistics nito. So, this is also being used for machine learning, especially for statistical data. So, pwede, malimit din yung gamitin. Then, JavaScript, of course, that is if you're going to have, as mentioned sa web development. Okay? Kung yung ay web development, na may machine learning, gagamit ng web development, pwede. Mas maganda rin ang JavaScript. Until na, marami naman sa mga student and so on ay sanay sa JavaScript din. Hopefully. Yeah. Ito naman, ano kaya ba ng machine learning tools? So, machine learning tools kasi, ito naman yung pinaka-library or ano na. Although mayroon dito talagang software din. Like Shogun and in SAS, which is on statistics also. But basically, ito ang mga tools na ginagawa. These are mostly libraries of Python and R. Ito, no? Hindi lang ito, napakarami itong pwede, pero I just mentioned some of this. Here. Yan is scikit-learn. Ito, malimit itong gamitin. Sabi, the most popular and easy to implement machine learning library. So, library din to. Hindi, pa kami ano ba library? Ibig sabihin yan, yung mga content niyan ay ginagamit for a certain purpose. Kasi in this case, library can be used for machine learning. Okay? Or maybe not only machine learning. It can be maybe for other purpose also. Okay, so 2007 pa pala yan. And LTK, Open Source Machine Learning Library that is for the purpose of natural language processing po. NLP. So maraming estudyante rin na nagtatry ng ng natural language processing. Meron nagsubok nito iba pero hindi ganun kasi.
Hello, Sir Jess. I think Sir Jess has technical difficulty right now.
Okay. Okay na. So JavaScript. Anyway,
Next, sir, next.
I'll make it faster. So these are the most popular learning tools. Hindi ko na masyado siya discuss. But this is actually, as mentioned, these are the tools that can be used. These are usually libraries of uh, Python, R, and others. Yung iba naman dyan, so, ano din talaga, programming talaga. So we may also need this especially in data mining or analysis of data and so on. So kailangan pa rin natin to. So anyway, hindi ko na-discuss kasi baka mamura tayo ni Mother at sobra overtime na ako. Mas mataas ang aking sisingilin dyan. Yeah, presented tools are libraries of Python R as well as software suites like SAS and Shogun. So kasi Japanese ano yan. So using these machine learning tools, there is a need to, wait na, hindi ko mabasa, iba kasi natatako ba? Ano ba yan? There's a need to have the required programming knowledge. Siyempre, kailangan lagi yan. Hindi kayo makagawa siyempre. Any IT students naman or any IT student should know how to program. Or should know how to code. Steps in developing ito, malapit na tayo. Ito yung general steps lang naman to in developing a machine learning application. Train machine learning problem in terms of what we want to predict and what kind of observation data you have to make those predictions. So yeah, ano ba yung, what do you want to learn? What data can be used? Dictionary is only a label yun. Just label or target answer. Maybe a yes, no label or any other category and so on. Isang common problem in training the data is that the data may be not clean or you need some cleaning pa of the data. Diba? Because some of them will not be really organized or mayroong irrelevant data or any other errors that will make the accuracy of prediction affect the accuracy of prediction. So, or might take additional computation without aiding results. Ayan. Preparing data for ML. Once the data is ready for machine learning algorithm, we need to transform the data in the form that the ML system can understand. Okay? Kasi ano yan. By the way, ang trabaho dun ng machine learning o model, hindi naman niya binabasa as image or text yun. Kino-convert niya siyempre into language of computer which is numbers. Usually the 1 and 0, di ba, binary number. Kino-convert pa rin yan. So, kaya gagamit tayo talaga ng softwares. Yan. How about when itong common problem din. When you handle large data, especially lalo na pag yung inyong kailangan ay maraming data kailangan. Takes, let's say, several gigs or gigabytes. Let's say 2 gigabytes, 3 gigabytes. Before, when you are using this, but it takes days bago matapos yung training. Some of my faculty who are doing their PhD and masteral, yung problem ganito, usually it took them days or 24 hours o before finishing because nasa computer rin yan. So you need a high-end computer for if you are going to train large data. Kung very large lang, kung di naman large, hindi naman kailangan. So you have to, anong gagawin natin? Allocate more memory. Work with a smaller sample if it's possible. Use computer with more memory and higher processor speed. Yan, yung sinasabi ko. Pagka malaking data. Or one thing that you can do is change the data format. And let's say yung CSV format ka or format ka, maaaring merong mas maliit na format para mas lumiit yung kanyang space requirement o bytes requirement. Stream data or use progressive loading. Pwede yan, streaming data coming from cloud or any other. And use a relational database. So those who are familiar with the relational database, pwede rin yun para magkameron na bawasan. Hindi magduduplicate, mag-redundant ang data. Or use a big data platform. So these are the things that we can use in handling large data files if you're going to do it. Pero I don't think naman siguro sa undergrad kung may kakameron sila na o mag-develop sila ng pwede din pala. I think there was one group na medyo malaki yung data nila depending on the study or project or apps that you're going to do. Ito yung mga sample. Actually, hindi naman ito, nakita ko rin lang ito, ng mga possible topic, projects. Kasi yun ang gusto ninyo, di ba? In fact, there's a lot that you can do. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, ito ngayon ang pinakamarami na ginagawang research. Or, in the case of students, things can be used as a thesis or a project study or a substance project. There's a classification technique for phase spoof detection in artificial neural network using concepts of learning, iris detection, and their organization system using classification and GLCM algorithm in machine learning, using machine learning algorithm detection pattern system using of textual feature analysis naman. Plant disease detection using GLCM and KNN classification. So these are neural networks also merged with the concept of machine learning. Pwedeng, dito maraming garto dito sa amin na gumawa yung mga disease ng plants. Kaya nga may naprobang isa, may lahat na ganun ginawa. Merong kakao, merong mango, merong palay, merong so on. Anyway, okay lang. Kasi iba-iba naman ang database, ang data lang. So, isa yun sa pwedeng gawin natin. Determine mo disease ng isang plant o isang fruits na using image processing combined with this machine learning concepts of machine learning. Okay? Sorry. Using the algorithms of machine learning to pose technique for prediction. Better. Predicting analysis data mining. Yan. Sentiment analysis siya. Marami na rin nagawa ng sentiment analysis. Diba? Using SBA. Kaya sabi ko SBA medyo mabigat. But meron nang gumagawa miski sa undergrad dito. Sa masters namin dito, meron ding isang akong estudyante na ang thesis niya about sentiment. Then, heart disease prediction. So, ito tungkol sa using technique of classification machine learning. Parang data mining sa kala. Ito maraming data kala. Ito. Kasi, maaring meron na nitong available online o maaring magkukuha pa sa mga hospital. Pro data talaga. That will make it difficult na. Detection of pneumonia or any sickness. Isasabi ko, pwede. Baka COVID pwede lagay dito. Pero ngayon, hindi siyempre mahirap magkuha ng data. But there may be online data sets on this that is based on X-ray images using convolutional neural networks. So ito lang yung medyo ilan sa mga usual na pwede natin gawin. So you can just change the applications, but this can be a basis for your possible thesis or project. Medyo ito na ngayon ang trends natin. Hindi na ngayon ano yung mga ano, in fact, in our college, di ko na masyado tinatanggap yung mga ano ay mga inventory, reservation, mga enrollment system, and so on. Na fix yung ano. So we need a new trends na in this field that how we train our students. Okay? So I think that will be all for now. So if you have any questions, it's okay. Anyway, live naman to.
Okay.
So, wag na lang kayo mag-question.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Jessie A. Montalo, for your engaging talk. I am sure our audience has interesting questions too. May I invite once again our audience to post their questions in the chat box for who are in Zoom and comment section for those in FB Live. I have seen one first from Mr. Quiroz Jr. Let me allow to read his message. Thank you for the informative lecture. One of the critical challenges in doing machine learning is overfitting. What can you suggest to avoid overlearning the model?
Yes, that is common. So I think we can try the other tools or the other techniques, more advanced techniques. Ano bang gagamitin niyang ano, tools or techniques?
May I invite Mr. Quiroz to turn on your camera and your mic, to unmute your mic so you can ask or to have additional info about your question?
Hi
Mr.
everyone.
Quiroz? Yeah, hi, good
Can you hear
afternoon.
me?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I can't turn on my camera because the signal
Yeah,
is
it's
not
okay,
stable
sir.
here in the province.
Yeah.
So I'm currently working po on, I thank you Professor Ajesi po for the response. I'm currently working on an image classification. However, I only have a small amount of data, so I want to make sure that during the building of the model, there is no overfitting po. So I want to solicit your opinion on how can I avoid overfitting or overlearning the model.
Of course, the best is to get more data. Or kasi we cannot really, if you have only few data, so possible talaga overfitting. But of course, the best solution is to get more data. Or siguro, ano ba yung data sets o ano ito? Raw data na na-acquire?
It's raw data po. It's images po yung data ko. And then, yeah, that's a good point po that kasi it's a common suggestion po na kailangan mas maraming data so that the model will learn better. Pero I'm just asking po if is there a way in the side of the algorithm to tweak so that we can avoid overfitting without adding too much data. Kasi po when we have too much images data po, masyadong slow din po yung learning ng model considering po yung computational capacity ng devices or ng technology na gagamitin.
Yeah, that's why I recommend using a higher-end laptops or computers in this case. I really cannot
Yes
think
po.
to solve your ano. Hindi naman kasi you will use a forecasting kasi yun na rin naman ang gagamitin nga niya kasi pwede ka magkameron ng procedure of prediction like Carlo Montebay na I just forgot exactly for forecasting possible data. Na yun ang gagamitin to fit because I already used that in one of my earliest areas although hindi ko pa alam yung machine learning nun.
Okay.
That's weather forecasting. So, no, that's about.
Thank you, Sir Quiroz. for your
Thank you.
question.
Thank you,
Suggest,
Professor
may I
Jessie.
suggest that your screen to stop the sharing for us to see our
Wait,
participants. Thank you po.
wait, di ko na, teka, wait.
While we are waiting for the, I'll check again
Wait.
some of the questions that is privately sent to me. So let me read.
Oh, saan ba ito? Yo. Sige, Doc Cory. Hindi ko lang ma-set itong ano, nawala yata dito.
Apo. Sige sir, take your time.
Saan ba ito?
Okay. Wait.
Ano ba yung ano dito? Yun, stop share. Okay, hindi ko makita agad.
Yan, sir. Thank you po. Sir,
Yeah.
which is more important to you, of course, as a speaker, no? Model accuracy or model performance?
To me, of course, is, teka, model accuracy.
Or model performance?
Of course, in the sense of ano, purpose, siyempre maganda yung model performance. Model accuracy and performance, sabi mo?
Yeah. May I repeat the question, sir? Which is more important to you, model accuracy or model performance?
I think they are interrelated kasi kung accurate yung model mo, you will have a good performance. I really not sure what the question is targeting what. Kasi I think if you have a good model, then you will have a good results of performance. Parang related ang sadya, you know.
Okay. I hope that our participant is satisfied with the answer of Sir Jess. Thank you, Sir Jess. Another question. Wait, I'm checking the from our comment section. I think none from there.
Okay na?
Okay na? So,
It's already overtime.
I think that is, but has additional message. So can we have the PowerPoint, sir? Is it okay for you to share the PowerPoint presentation?
My presentation?
Po. Someone is asking po.
Ay, teka. Ano ba yan?
No, sir. Ibig sabihin po, you can we send daw the copy of the presentation?
Sige. I will. Kaya convert ko lang muna sa PDF. Ano?
Okay. Dear participants, okay po kay sir. Thank you, dear participants, for your queries. In order for you to receive your e-certificate, kindly answer our evaluation form, which is posted in our chat box and comment section. Your e-certificate will then be sent to you upon filling out our feedback form. Please note that for security purposes, this evaluation link will only be available for an hour after this series. Only members who submitted the evaluation form will be given the certificate. If you are not a member, membership fee is only 50 pesos for this academic year only. Kindly coordinate with your respective advisor for the details. We would like to recognize the valuable inputs of our speaker by awarding our e-certificate. Let me read the citation. Integrated Southern Tagalog Association of Information Technology Education awards this certificate of appreciation to Dr. Jessie A. Montalvo, Batangas State University, for having been the resource speaker in the third webinar with the topic Machine Learning on January 9, 2021, given this 9th day of January 2021 via Zoom. Signed, Dr. Rosalie B. Alday, President. Please receive our virtual applause. We would like to invite once again in our fourth webinar series, which is on January 16, 2021 at 4 p.m. with Dr. Alice Lacorte as our speaker. Thank you, everyone. See you again in the next webinar series. Stay safe and have a good day. Again, this is Dr. Corazon B. Rebong, now signing off. God bless us all.
iSITE is an organization for IT students formed by the deans from 8 different universities in Region 4A, Calabarzon, Philippines, to boost the IT skills of students from more than 200 universities, offering IT education programs such as computer science, information technology, information systems, and computer engineering. iSITE is the only recognized organization by the Commission on Higher Education in the field of IT education in the region. Its event is always a much-awaited one, since below speakers are coming from relevant industries in the field and well-known academicians in the country. In order to address the need for knowledge of students from the very fast-changing technology, iSITE conducted 2 to 3 conferences and seminars in a year, and the annual iSITE Regional Research Conference and Presentation, IT Education, IRR Site, and IT competitions endorsed by the Philippine Commission on Higher Education. As such, iSITE was able to achieve its objectives in a matter of 5 years after its foundation. Most importantly, not only the students benefited, but also the universities and schools in the region. The program helped a lot of schools and students in terms of providing them with the latest seminars and trainings in various emerging topics in ITE. They have been exposed to people in the industry for networking and linkages, and even IT skills certifications. Students as well as faculty member advisors were able to see the latest gadgets and devices, such as drones and robots in advance when they participate in every event. They were able to learn about the research outputs of various school student participants. Faculty members were able to interact and share best practices with each other. Aside from fun, excitement, and prizes, students' outstanding skills in programming, creativity, and research presentations were recognized and showcased. Above all, sharing and collaborations have been developed, and self-confidence of students were proven to assist them in their future career after graduation. As there is a need to further supplement learning of many students in a third world country like the Philippines, especially that the field of IT is a fast-changing technology, IT Students Capacity Building Program was implemented to address the need. Most schools and universities in the regional part of the country need to have state-of-the-art facilities and laboratories at par to at least our neighboring ASEAN countries. Schools offering information technology education (ITE) programs are striving to keep its curriculum up to date, facilities upgraded, and learning support resources provided to all its students. However, not all schools and universities in the region can provide the needed learning resources to students, as well as linkages to relevant industries of the programs. Hence, iSITE, Integrated Southern Tagalog Information Technology Education, developed this program. To date, there are more than 2,000 student members and 80 higher educational institutions as institutional members in the region. This program provided industry-aligned and timely seminars, trainings, and conferences to students taking ITE programs in the region, addressing the needs of universities as well as the needs of many small schools in the region. Big schools and universities, and those with higher level of accreditation, local and international, and Center of Development and Excellence in IT Education, are extending their resources and facilities to help other schools through the program. In addition, it also promotes a research sharing and collaborations by allowing students to present their theses and capstone as research outputs to other students from various universities for utilization and potential commercialization. Also, the seminars and trainings provided by experts in the industry develop the IT skills of the students that equip them to compete in several programming and IT skills competition in the regional and national levels.